Firstly, Juleysi and Nelysa, thank you for joining today. I wanted to get you on this Platform 7 community call because it was just a very interesting conversation we had when we were introduced a couple of weeks ago and just listening to what you guys are up to. But if you could just start by telling the audience a little bit about where you're at currently in school, the business you've started, and I may follow up with a couple of questions. If Juleysi, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, so my name is Juleysi. I'm currently a senior at North Carolina State University studying business administration with a concentration in finance, and Nelysa is at UNC Pembroke studying business administration with concentration in analytics.
Cool.
Nelysa and I have always had an entrepreneurial background. We've always wanted to build our own company, but we kept doing ideas. They were failing, and we were learning a lot from them. We've been doing this since we were like in middle school. And then once we came to our like junior year in college, we figured, okay, there's a ton of pitch competitions and our colleges have these resources. Why don't we just pitch an idea? And so we were like, we want to create a super innovative idea that is going to change an industry, change it like massively to the point people think so much differently about that industry. And we were like, okay, DoorDash does like a really good example of that. And we were like, okay, well, what about lawn care? Lawn care is like stuck in the past and no one's like done anything to that industry in such a long time. And then we were like, okay, let's merge lawn DoorDash and lawn care, and we can create lawn care services on demand for customers to get easy access to lawn care at any time.
Very cool. Before you go on in terms of more detail about the actual business, you mentioned that you've been trying to do this for a while, come up with different businesses since I think you mentioned
Yeah.
middle school. Now, Lisa, like what about you guys like has driven you or like prompted you to go down this sort of entrepreneurial path?
Absolutely, yeah. So it all started when I was 9 years old. My father introduced to me these glow-in-the-dark helicopters that like shot in the sky.
Uh-huh.
And he told me, hey, you can get these for like 20 cents in China. You can get them internationally. That blew my mind. And he said, you can actually resell them. So I said, okay, I want to do that. From then on, that kicked off just company after company after company that me and my sister and a few of my other siblings, we started. And we started off just first, we took things from Dollar Tree and would go and resell them out to our community at local events, and we would get revenue off of that. So that blew our minds. We got excited. And we said, okay, what can we do on a larger scale? So then we took and sourced products internationally and then distributed them into the domestic market. So we went through a bunch of companies doing that, just taking products internationally and distributing them. We did makeup, we did electronic devices, to the point that we had Apple and Innersloth, the parent company of Among Us, come after us and shut us down. And so it was just like, it was such a cool experience. Entrepreneurship is the most exciting thing. And it all started because my father came and showed me that one little product that I could get internationally. We definitely never, thinking back, like little kids making up this company called Sweet Treats selling, we sell like these cupcakes that had pearls on the top.
Yeah.
We never thought that we would end up at such a high level company because now we started in May. We're expanding and transforming so rapidly. It's mind blowing. And we're just so excited. So just that entrepreneurial background definitely helped us though where we are today with our this current company.
And do you think the experiences you've had from previous companies and previous things you've tried to do have helped you in where you're at right now with this lawn care business?
Absolutely. I mean, communicating with suppliers across the globe and just facilitating relationship management and making sure we keep those good contacts and then talking to the customers, right? We would have customers that were upset, broken in the mail. We've had customers in the UK, in Norway, in Europe. We've had customers all over the world. So, I mean, doing that with e-commerce, that was huge for what we have now because now customer experience we have down solid connections to suppliers outside of the United States, we have that down. So it's definitely made a smooth transition, our experience, to be able to be where we are right now. It's really exciting.
I can sense the excitement. The last time I spoke to you guys and today. Do you talk to me about your friends in college that are like watching you do this? Are they are, is there a desire from them to get into like the, I guess, the entrepreneurial world? Are they inspired by you guys? Are they trying to figure out how you're doing it? I'll let Juleysi take that
Yeah,
one if you
I
want.
think
Just
it's definitely a huge mixture of both. I've had friends who are super supportive in me, in my career, and my aspirations. And then I've also had some friends that are like, well, how are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this. So I think I've also just leaned on more of those friends who have been supportive and are really just trying to help me get to that long-term goal of just like growing my company and just like giving me the resources and connecting me to those right people and networking more.
and you guys obviously in business together, would you say you have similar skills, like complementary skills? How does the dynamic work with you guys?
oh, we complement each other so well that
Yeah,
like, it's literally like this. We
we are
complement each other so well.
we're complete opposites. So whatever skill I'm like not that great at, she can definitely do so much better and vice versa.
That's
Yeah.
very cool. Very cool. And that, listen, I guess that any business partnership, I guess that is, I think it's a blessing and very, yes, I think it's a strong thing to have in place there. I know with my own previous business, there was two other business partners I had and myself. So the three of us, I think we were very lucky. Not only did we trust each other implicitly, but like we literally all had very different, unique skill sets, which fortunately complemented each other. And the fact that if all three of us were good at the same thing or did the same thing, I don't think there'd be
Right.
as much
Yeah.
benefit. Um, Talk to me about the this pitch competition. Was that what like prompted you to come up with this idea, or did it give you a bit of like what impact did that have on this business?
So the pitch competition definitely was after the idea. The idea was created far before that. We created the idea because we saw the problem. We saw all these industries just moving into the digital age, and lawn care was still stuck in the 1920s. And it was just, it hasn't changed. The way that people find lawn care still sometimes is magazines and posters and paper. So we saw like DoorDash, Uber, all these industries were digitizing themselves. And lawn care, it took us 3 weeks to get a hold of someone or have somebody actually show up to the point we ended up having to do lawn care ourselves because
Uh,
our father was a property manager at one point. So we we were the ones that had to do it. So we said there has to be a way to really digitize this entire business model. It's way too outdated. So we came up with the idea. And then a couple months later, I would say the pitch competition, we figured out about it and pitched our idea.
and in that process, did they help you pitch the idea? Did they help you pitch the idea? Did they help you with any part of the business, or was it just at the end of it you got like yeah, was it beneficial, the actual competition?
My university, I did a couple. They really helped. There was a couple representatives at my university who really helped formulate the idea better. Showed me a couple resources that I could see within the state and really helped kind of define my pitch too. So definitely, I'm so grateful to them. And then CEO, which is another organization for really anybody. It's and across the globe in any university. We had somebody come from Germany can come and compete. We got out of 600 applicants, we placed top 24. That was an amazing experience. It was
That's insane.
phenomenal. And they really helped us, right? Right. We didn't get a top six where the prizes were, but to us, the value was so much more than the prizes ever could equate to. It was amazing.
Very, very cool. And was there like a networking play there as well? Did you meet other like entrepreneurs, other business owners?
Yes. Oh my gosh, so many. So many. There was 100+ entrepreneurs there. It was amazing.
And I guess when you get to meet other people who are building similar things, like it can only help you, right?
Oh yeah, it was such a good motivator. It was really encouraging to see, wow, there's actually other people. Because at first I thought, okay, maybe it's just me and a couple people in my school. But to see that there was so many people who are so driven to have their own business in college and really push to get sales and just open up the realm of entrepreneurship for themselves was amazing to see. It was extremely motivating.
Do you think that entrepreneurship amongst college students is becoming more appealing, more attractive?
Yes, I would
I
say yes.
Yeah, I do think so too, because I'm also seeing a lot of more interest in entrepreneurship, even at my college campus. I was also reading an article about from Kevin O'Leary, and he mentioned that we should just ditch our office jobs and go create a company and something of our own, which is going to be so much more valuable than like an office job.
And why do you think he says that?
I think he's right. I think he's definitely seeing into the future, and he knows more than I am, has more experience, and he's able to see that and say, okay, there's definitely a huge bottleneck within the job industry right now, and like employees aren't being treated as well as they were maybe like a couple years ago. And ever since COVID, I think the corporate world has definitely changed, and I've definitely been able to experience that in my internships.
And do you have views of like if college students are more interested in starting their own company and entrepreneurship in general? I mean, you mentioned there the pitch competition. Like it sounds like incredible value and like support in helping you guys. Do you see ways in which the college system or education in general can help these entrepreneurial minded students?
I mean, yes, I do. I do see a lot of ways. I see a lot of gaps too. I see a lot of opportunities for colleges to help students. I'm not sure if they're exactly there because I'm aware of a lot of college students who don't even know of the entrepreneurship resources at their school. So co colleges and universities currently are doing a great job, but there still is room for improvement.
Got it. Very cool. Going back to your business, what would you say is the biggest challenge you are currently facing with it right now?
For us, definitely the biggest challenge is just automation and getting out there, like awareness. If more people knew we existed, our business would scale up 5,000x. Just awareness overall, just because all these social media platforms and online is so saturated. There's so much ads. The customers that we're trying to hit are also seeing 1,000+ ads in the same day. So it's just if we could get awareness and find a way to differentiate ourselves, we need to be more unique. We're actually
Hmm.
currently working on a plan to develop being far more unique than anyone in our industry right now. So that's in the works right now. If we could just differentiate ourselves so much to the point that there's this, they see people as this blur and us as sticking out as a star, we would absolutely scale up far quicker. So we're currently working on a hardcore plan to vigorously execute in the industry so that we can get that awareness and people can know that, we exist.
We spoke a couple of weeks ago, and that's actually one of the topics we were talking about, exposure, awareness, marketing in a way. But it sounds like you don't need to go into the detail. Maybe you want to keep back your like special magic sauce there. But do you feel like you've identified how you're going to do that and how you're going to differentiate yourself?
Yes, yes. Our meeting the last time we met absolutely opened our eyes. We had a great, great discussion about it afterwards, and we developed a very solid marketing plan. And
Amazing.
we said, okay, we're just gonna try and we're gonna do it. And some of the stuff we've already tried has been working, so we're so excited to continue to execute this plan because it's just the beginning.
I remember one of the things we discussed without giving the game away too much was you are so different to your industry. And
Mhm.
I gave an example of another member at Platform 7 who is running a insurance company. And he's 24 years old. He raised a lot of money. He raised, I think, about $17 million to build this company. And he
That's
is so
awesome.
different. And I'm like, same as him. He's just completely leveraging off what's different about him, what's unique about him. Same when I started my first company, I was like 23, 24. We were so much younger than everyone else. We kind of just like played on that a little bit. Um, Random question, but I'm going to ask Juleysi. What do you think you've done really well at with this company? And if you can't answer it, I will answer it for you. What do you think?
Uh,
What do you think has been good that you've done so far? Like that stands out.
I definitely think it's more like networking and making those relationships. I'm definitely, my part of the company is honing down on just operations and keeping up with the relationships with people who are able to bring our company forward.
Very cool. I mean, we discussed that briefly last time we spoke, and that does stand out. But I think the other thing which you touched upon today is like you spoke about how you literally got your hands dirty and started like the first couple of jobs you got, you literally did the launch yourself. That's right, yeah.
Oh no, we didn't. We
Oh,
didn't.
we better edit that one out. But I think the point I was trying to make was like, you just got on with it. You just started this business. And that may sound like an obvious thing to say, but I meet with entrepreneurs and business owners or people with ideas literally every single day. And it's amazing how many just procrastinate and get in their own way and just don't start. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
amazing. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
amazing. And that was
Oh
really
my
what stood out
goodness.
about your story. Like you just kind of like got on with it, had the idea. You mentioned your father who's in the real estate space. You're leveraging and utilizing what you have around you. Um, would you say that you guys are like all in on this business?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
A
sure.
hundred
For sure.
percent. I 1,000% into this business. Like I spend more time on the business than I do on school, and school is extremely important to me. But I am 100%. This is what I want to do. I want to take this business to the next level because I want to give customers this value. I want them to feel, wow, I can have a digitized, modern lawn care experience. Like I can get lawn care in the next 2 seconds this weekend, just like I can order an Amazon package. I want it to be like that. I want customers to be blown away by this company. So absolutely, 100% all in.
And are you as all in today as we speak than you were when you started it or where you were even a month ago? Like, are you getting more and more invested?
Yeah, every day I think we get more and more into it. Like, I want this to be my job. I want to be like the co-founder and CEO of my own company than working for some other company when I graduate.
And when do you graduate, you guys?
Now, 2026. So she graduates in spring of 2026, and I graduate in December of 2026.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a little while off, but how are you feeling about, I guess, life as you enter the big wide world?
Amazing. I'm feeling great. I want to get out of school and start doing this full time.
Oh
Because
yeah.
because of this, that's what I
Yeah.
ask that question because I meet a lot of college students who are understandably nervous about what's next, feel unprepared, but it seems like you guys have got a differing kind of feeling because of what you've got that you're working on here.
Yeah, that's what
Oh yeah.
everyone always tells me. I met someone yesterday and they were like, "Yeah, I want to stay in school a little longer because I'm nervous about finding a job, but I want to graduate like ASAP." I'm actually graduating 2 years earlier than I'm supposed to for that reason because I just want to get out and start working because I love working and I want to start my own company by doing that
What is the dream?
for our
The
What's
dream in
company.
terms of
the company?
it's to build the number one world-class lawn care experience for customers in the
To,
Love.
industry.
to change the status quo of the lawn care industry and what people think about it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it. I'm just making a note or two here. I'm going to ask you some random questions. I'm mindful of your time. I don't want to take up too much more of your time
Oh no,
today,
you're
but
good.
So you
and
get, you
believe
get,
me, I keep asking you questions. Um, I'm just going to like randomly, Juleysi, who do you look up to and why?
that's a good question.
Didn't like it, did you?
Uh, 100% of the time when people ask this, I'm like myself. But I look up to my dad, definitely someone who's pushed me. Other than that, I'm pretty religious. So my North Star has been for a while is the Lord Jesus Christ and who I've looked up to, who I set everything around. That's just, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Christ himself. Or like, I wouldn't have gotten this much success at this young of an age.
I have goosebumps. Great answer.
Mm.
Fantastic. Um, Nelysa,
Yes.
what's the best bit of advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received is to see problems as an opportunity to grow and don't let it hold you back.
To add to that, almost like embrace the challenges.
Oh yeah. The best advice is most people run away from problems when that's exactly the one thing that's going to catapult you to the next level of success because you're always moving from one level of success to the next. The problems are there to bring you to the next level.
Who
They're
pointed
always
that?
there.
Who pointed that out to you?
My father.
Actually, I heard you both laugh as you said your father. I love that bit of advice, and no, I strongly feel the same in that literally every challenge and test that comes our way, in a way, it's a blessing and a gift, and you start to realize that every challenge we face, in the moment, it may feel really unpleasant and horrible, but there's usually a gift. Not usually, there is always a gift that comes out of it, and that's what the blessing is. And I also have this own view, which is the bigger you dream, the bigger your goals you set for yourself, the bigger the challenges and the tests that come along. It's
Oh
they're the
yeah,
things that shape you to become the people we need to become in order to achieve the goals, aspirations, and dreams that we set for ourselves.
absolutely.
Um, if this is a random one, because I'm asking you both, if you were asking yourselves for the bit of advice that you both need to hear in this moment right now, at this stage of your journey, what would you tell yourselves?
I would definitely tell myself to just move faster, pick up the pace. It doesn't matter what other people think. Pick up the pace and keep going. Keep going as fast as you can because time is your greatest commodity. So don't waste time and keep going. Pick up, like, do what I do, exactly what I've been doing right now to be successful, times 10. Just pick up the pace and do not see that there's any limits. The only limits you create are the ones in your own head. So let go of them because you're
Amazing.
unstoppable.
That's a TED talk right there. Juleysi, I feel like you have a hard act to follow after that answer. Do you want to add
Yeah, that
anything?
was a tough one.
Fantastic.
I think mine, similar to hers, just like keep going, have the courage to keep going. Don't lose sight of your goal. Don't lose sight. Be laser focused. Keep going. Have courage. Don't forget that God's right there with you, holding your hand, bringing you through this, and He goes before you all the time. And it's not me that's doing it; it's Him.
Yeah, I think you managed to just equal Lacey's answer there. It's amazing how many entrepreneurs and successful people I work with who share that kind of mentality and mindset, which is the abilities or the talents or the gifts they have are gifts that are, that came from someone bigger than themselves. And also just having faith, whether it be God or the universe or whatever it is you believe in, if you
Mhm.
have that faith, the right things or people or opportunities or sparks of inspiration have a way of presenting themselves in our lives exactly at the right moment at the right time. So yeah, we're on the same page there. Um, Wrapping up, before well, as I've just interrogated you for the last half an hour, do either of you have any questions for me or a question? And the answer
Yes.
can be no. Tell me.
Yes. How did you, through the journey of struggles, because I mean, from starting a business to ending a business, when you first started, did you have a vision? Did you see yourself completing what you've completed? Did you see it from the beginning?
Um, it's funny because I've just written a book about the journey that was, and I haven't read it in a little while. And I was reading through it over the last 48 hours and just editing it. And I was going through the journey. And there's two things that stood out from the book, which I reminded myself of. One is my I have two business partners. One of them was a guy called Sean, who was like he was like my brother. He is like my brother, my best friend. And we had this like pact from when we started in working when we were 17, 18 years old. We always set a target that every 6 months something had to improve. It could be the amount of money we were earning, it could be a skill or a trait that we had to improve on, but we always had 6 month targets. And if you consciously set those incremental targets, you tend to find that every 6 months you're further ahead and further ahead and further ahead. And then the part B of my answer would be we always had targets for the business. From day one, okay, so my first target was to set up a company. I always wanted to have my own company, which we did when we were 23, 24. Then it was a certain amount of revenue in our first year, then a certain amount of revenue in our second year. And then we set this big lofty target of selling the company for a big number. But throughout, we always had this like obsessive laser focus on exactly where we were going. So a long answer to your question, which is we always visualized it. Like, you talk about faith and stuff. Like we talk about, in fact, the book does, manifesting, the law of attraction, like attracts like, setting goals. That probably was single-handedly the biggest tool we used with our business to do what we did. And I get to work with entrepreneurs. I coach and mentor entrepreneurs today. It's amazing how few actually set clear goals and targets. You've got to know where you're going. You've got to set that North Star.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was great. I am a big believer on writing it down. Just write down the goal so that you're reminded of it and you see it, and you know where you're going. Having that path and knowing where you're going is just super important. So my other question would be, did you believe it? And how did you believe it? What, because there's so many people who make a goal, but then they lose faith and then the goal is nothing. It vanishes into thin air. How did you, just from the beginning, you like you said, you started at 17, you
Yeah.
were just like, I'm just gonna start this business. How did you keep that faith, that grit to push, to keep going?
I remember listening to a Will Smith, like very short clip online. And this sounds very like self-helpy and motivational, but like this video really struck a chord with me. He was interviewed about his success and how he achieved what he achieved. And he talked about in this interview, he said, like, one thing you need to know about me, he said, is if I'm getting on a treadmill in the gym and some person's on the treadmill next to me, there's two things are happening, he said. He said either that person's getting off first or I am going to die in the process. What he was basically getting at, I know it sounds dramatic, was like there was no way he was failing. Like that was his mentality. And I know that's an extreme example, but like there was just no way, there was no other way. Like there was just
Right.
no other option. The only thing that was happening was we were going to achieve that thing. And you
Wow.
you do have your moments and you do have your doubts and you do have your wobbles, but when you know where you're going and you have that level of obsession and knowing it's going to happen, and also like you can ride out the challenges. And it's something you said earlier on, Lacey, in the fact that most people, when they have those challenges or those tests, they throw in the towel, they give up. But when you know they're there to like teach you something, or they're there to show you something, or to like improve you, you almost embrace them. And yeah, it's if you've got, I don't know, you do see two, one other thing I noticed was, and there's books that have been written about this. Someone has this like great big lofty goal. There's almost like this unwritten thing that right before the breakthrough, or right before they get there, they win that trophy, they sell that company, they do that thing. Like that last big challenge always comes. It's almost like that last big test to see how, like, where they can really keep it together and hold their nerve. Like you see in like movies, that like the hero's movie where right before the end, like that crazy thing happens and they get there. That's kind of how life works a little bit. But we were just obsessed, and just it was just like burning, like it's just this unwavering faith that was what's going to happen.
Wow. That's phenomenal. That's extremely impressive.
That's inspiring.
Thank you. Um, any questions from you, Juleysi, before we wrap up?
Like, what steps did you get here, and like, what were like some of the biggest challenges, and how did you come over them?
Um, I think the biggest challenges I would say was like timing and patience was a big one. I remember before we started our first company, I was so excited and desperate and passionate to start a company that like I nearly went too early. I nearly started something too early, and I don't think that would have been a good thing in hindsight, because I being too like not being ready would have been a disaster. But I actually think the scariest part was you're always doing things you've never done before. You're always having to do things for a first time. You're always having to like do things that like just seem, you just almost feel like they're out of your comfort zone, or you feel like you've got this imposter syndrome. That was always the hardest part. But when you start to realize, and somebody taught me this at the time, everyone has been in exactly those same shoes. Anyone that has achieved anything, every single one of them did something for the first time. They felt like they were out of their depth. They didn't know what they were doing. But when you start to realize that everyone's been in that same place and it's just part of the journey, it got significantly easier. But yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge. Like starting a company, imposter syndrome. Who am I to start a company? Who am I to lead it? Manage a team? Like what clients are going to trust me with their, in my case, real estate and buildings. But yeah, the more you do something, the more normal it becomes, and the better you get at it. But yeah, that was a challenge, I'd say.
That's awesome. It's really cool to hear.
When you
Thank
got
you.
discouraged and you felt like that feeling, kind of how you're just explaining, who am I to manage all these people? What steps did you take to overcome that?
Um, I think that firstly, I had, like you guys having each other, I had a business partner, well, I had two, but Sean and I remember when we started the company and we were succeeding and making a hell of a lot of money. I was just like, I was overwhelmed by it. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And he just looked at me. He's like, Ricky, just put it together, own it. You are doing this thing. People do trust you. Like, just get on with it, like own it. And I remember that was like a pivotal moment. But also, I had a mentor. Um, I had a mentor from day one who was always there, whether it be moments of doubt, whether it be good moments, down moments. I remember when we received the offer to sell our business, I was, I think, understandably nervous that if it didn't happen or the deal fell through, how would I react? How would I respond? And I remember going to my mentor, Nigel, in that moment, and he gave me the advice to like settle me down. He told me exactly what I needed to hear. And I just think that dealing with these tough moments or those setbacks or those wobbles or those fearful sort of steps along the way, I think the key is to have great people around you, whether it be good parents, a mentor, business partners, etc. So that's what really helped.
That's really cool. And last question would be, now seeing where you are now from the beginning, what would you tell yourself when you first started,
Um,
knowing what you know now?
Or like, what is like some advice you would tell your like younger self, 17-year-old
Yeah.
self? Like, you can do
Yeah.
it, or
I think I think I would tell myself the thing that so many people told me along the way. I just thought they were talking rubbish and I disregarded it and I wish I didn't, which is enjoy the process. Like really enjoy it. Like the journey is the best part. Like if that's the goal and that's the journey to get there, we think we're gonna like be happy when we get to there and succeed. But when you get there, that's not the bit you relive. The bit you relive is the journey on the way up there. That is the best part. And even now, when I talk to my ex-business partners about our journey and what we achieved, we don't talk about the day we sold the company or the day the money hit our bank accounts. We literally talked about those great moments along the way and those scary moments
Oh,
and those exciting moments. And
that's
yeah, you just
awesome.
you just like you hear so many other successful entrepreneurs talk about they just missed the climb basically. So that's the advice I would give. Um, but yeah, I
Wow.
feel like you've really turned
awesome.
this conversation on its head. I feel like you've asked me more questions than I asked you. But listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. I've loved this conversation, and yeah, just it's incredible what you guys are doing. Keep doing it, keep going. I'm here to help and support in whatever way I can, and I wish you guys all the best.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much. I'm so
much.
grateful you took the time.